It's 6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. First item will be roll call.
Brown,
Here.
Cox,
Here.
Brett,
Here.
Garkey,
Here.
Davis,
Here.
Now.
Here. Next item will be a motion to approve the agenda. Move. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Everyone had a chance to look over the previous meeting's minutes. If there are no additions or corrections, they'll stand approved as presented. Announce visitors. Go ahead. Aye. Public comment. None. We'll move on to officers' report, and chief's report.
All right. Well, welcome, Jim. That's fairly straightforward one this time. I do have May call volumes on the last page of my report, up from last year. Total call volume is 601 for May. Of course, April was still a very big month last month. May not quite as much, but still very busy. As far as any issues on there, we didn't have, I had to triple check this. We didn't have any flights last month, but then I remembered it ran today, so no flights. Normal amount of cancels. Actually, invalid run numbers went down dramatically. They've got some new dispatchers working down there that are going to transition over to the Pettis County Communication Center. So those communication specialists are doing a great job so far. We haven't went live with them. They're getting lots of practice, getting used to everything. Zero status level 0 events in the city. There were 6 of them where the trucks were out in Windsor, but not in the city where we had any kind of mutual aid response from Windsor or any. Excuse me. No SOG changes, major equipment. The station radios and the alert systems are being prepped right now for switching to Pettis County Joint Communications operations later this month. And that's just got to do with how the radios are actually toned out per station. Once we go to the central communications, it will be station specific rather than just everybody hearing all the tones. So that'll be nice. And that's pretty much just a one shot. We'll flip a switch and let it work.
Will that be for Windsor too?
No, Windsor's still be dispatched by Henry County. Windsor will be on their own. Okay. They'll still hear everything we're doing. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for pointing that out. As far as vehicle equipment maintenance, I did not put on here because I wasn't sure about the dates. I am now, however, sure about the dates that Roy and I and Lance are actually going out to Lance Dempsey, Battalion Chief Dempsey, are going out to Jefferson, North Carolina to inspect the 2 other ambulances that were ordered. That'll be a final inspection on them. So I'm excited to see how they're coming along. It should be good to go. And if it's anything like last time, a couple of weeks after we've been out there, they'll be getting back here and back on our doorstep. So hopefully everything goes fine out there. Let's see, our unit mileages, my printer ran out of red. So the bottom 3 would be normally red, 1, 2, and 6. But you can see the changes in mileage. There's nothing major there. We still are waiting on the unit 7. You can see it's still down there at 1224 as of the end of May. It's in service, but it's not frontline yet because we are still waiting for some of the HAPS equipment to come in to do a complete install on radios and computer hardware. So just waiting on stuff. If we do need it though, it is turnkey and going to function just fine on call. So we're just keeping back line until we have it 100%.
So your replacement units will be for 2 and 6 or 1 and combination?
Definitely 1 and 6, I believe.
Yeah, 2's one we didn't work on.
Yes. Yeah, we put quite a bit of new drivetrain in units 1 and 2 had the majority of them. So we were hoping to squeak a few more miles out of that. All right, the building and grounds, no big issues to report. However, those of you might have came up the back there have seen our ramp was getting in pretty ill repair. So we need to replace some bad boards on it and reseal it. not the whole thing, just the top banister and the actual grab rail needs to be replaced, so that'll be a fairly minor project. Computer and phone systems, no big major minor upgrades to those. However, I did want to point out tonight, as some of you may know, we've been transitioning to that therefor online scheduling software, which does all of our HR stuff, fleet maintenance tracking, scheduling, vacations, you name it, it does everything. And I want to just take a moment tonight and thank Assistant Chief Pennington for all the work he's done on that. It's no small affair. He's had his head in that thing for about 3 months now, and he's actually put a series of videos out on YouTube as a instructional mixtape of sorts on YouTube. It's very professional, all on-screen walkthrough tutorial stuff. So I just wanted to thank him publicly for all the work he's done on that. So appreciate it. The risk analysis, we've been looking into it. There's not much out there. IT, Ryan, I think you split the room already. There are some government options you can do. They'll send out emails and test your security, test your cyber security of your system, but it's not a very comprehensive test. So I'm trying to find some more information out as far as just our risk management, risk analysis of our software and our internet connections and so forth. I know Ryan runs tests all the time on this stuff, but we've never had a complete procedure put together. So that's what we were hoping to meet on and kind of get some direction as far as anything else we need to be doing, and just doing the annual plan, having it all set in place to run on its own. Let's see.
Can I ask, do we have cyber insurance?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. There's an additional policy on there for that.
We have coverage on our regular policy, and then we have additional coverage.
Yeah. There's terrorist insurance or some sort. Activity, community, I didn't have anything on here, but I did get an invite. Joe Fisher donated us some tickets at the table. The Pettis County Republican Party is doing what they're calling a salute to heroes for 2021 Pettis County McKinley Day. And from what I understand, there's going to be a live band. They donated us some tickets to take a few people from staff over there. There'll be a live band, a dinner, a program. I believe Dean Dorman is coming down to give a speech for everybody. It's just to recognize our local first responders as far as law enforcement, EMS, and fire. So looking forward to that on the 17th. Pettis County Joint Communications working on our Cad interface installation. And that interface, as far as our CADs are our mobile units that tell us computer-aided dispatch, that tell us what's up, they tell us where the call is, how long it takes us to get there, what our mileage was, any information can be typed in real time. That information has never been imported into our patient care reporting software, or EPCR software, which is image trend. If you ever hear me say that, you'll see the Google for it every once in a while. It's image trend lead, and that's our main hub of patient care reporting. So what that CAD does, this interface will dump all that data into that software, and there's a lot of ones and zeros that have to be programmed along the way. That's currently underway. Training this month, we're doing some, Justin is doing Pediatric Advanced Life Support, which is an American Heart Association for pediatric advanced care in the field and in the hospital. Teaches that here on site, and we'll be putting whoever needs it through. It's a 2-year licensure, but generally there's people about 2 or 3 times a year that need class over here, and Justin goes over and helps with hospital classes sometimes too, and vice versa. We do have some new hire orientation that is now ongoing. They've already been brought in on board and scheduled, and no problems with any of the pre-employment or post-offer issues. So they're all going to be traveling through, riding with FTOs, getting the feel for everything. Like I said, a few of them have already done clinicals here, so I'm looking forward to some of them getting done maybe a little quicker than others. If all goes as planned, they should be road ready in about probably 4 to 6 weeks. Some of them maybe a little bit less, but generally about 4 to 6 weeks to get them on the road. That's for the PRN EMTs, which will also help keep the costs down. Instead of having to have a full-time person come in and pick up an extra shift, we'll be able to cover those with our PRN staff. consideration by the board. I don't have any purchases or contracts going or pending, nothing like that. No current COVID-related illnesses or absence, thankfully, still. No FMLA information report. I will have something next time. I believe it's a fairly minor issue. Nothing for local 5229 and no other promotions or demotion status changes. That is all I have for you gentlemen, unless you have any questions.
Any questions for it? Now we'll move on to CFO report.
On page 3, we start with the interest rates. We discussed the money we received from the Street property, putting some of that into some CDs. And we got some rates. The best rate we've got still is with Houston at 0.85% for 11 or 15 months. The rest of them were all less than that, and the rest of them were not local names either. Central Bank was still 0.15. So I don't know if you guys want to discuss that or wait till next time to talk about that. Our current CD is up for renewal on 7/5. So, and that is currently at 0.8%.
And what are they going to do that at?
But they quoted us at 0.85 currently, so.
Oh, the one that would.
Mhm. That's where our CD is now. So, and I think it would be good to move that money out of the general checking account, building funds, at least, if you guys don't want to put it in a CD. Even if we do put it in a CD, since we're thinking about doing something with that, I would think we'd want to, maybe put increments of 200,000 or 250,000 every 3 months, so we have some different times that they come due.
And with that 0.85, are they going to give you like penalty for early withdrawal?
Yes, there's a penalty for it. So as long as we have it rolling, it would be fine.
And Jamie, what would, there'd also be some additional consideration with the pledge collateral to make sure that additional funds, because we don't have that over Houston. So.
Yeah, I sent an email to check on that, and I haven't heard anything back yet, so.
Fine with it, and what it used to. Far and away better than these.
All right, so look at page 4, we have our budget performance summary for April. So we are about a third of the way through the year. And so we are above budget for our operating revenue, about 6%. Good news. Our operating expense, we're above budget just about 3%, 3.5%. But if you take out our annual items, we would still be right on budget. So everything's looking pretty good there. Any questions on any of that? Pages 5 through 8 are the details of that budget summary. You can see that ambulance and vehicle fuel is below budget, about $11,000 below budget currently. So that's still looking okay. Medical supplies is also under budget, about $23,000, and so is auction. So all of that's looking good. Communications is right on budget at 32.3%. Our health insurance is right on budget, so we pay that in advance. So that's actually under budget, just about 4% or so. The only one is payroll expenses are a little bit high so far this year. Just about 3.5% as well. Anybody have any questions on any of that?
And like we highlight the ones that you're going to talk to us about. And I don't have to look all over, where is that? So I think
What you would expect with revenue being up, your expenses are going to go.
Yeah, and there's also additional insight. Give us some additional insight on that payroll, if you would, to Jenny, reflecting compared to last year.
Well, there's a timing difference there, so just the way the payroll periods fall. Last year, we only had eight payrolls. This year we've had 9, so that's a portion of it. Last year, nobody was going on vacation. This year, we got lots of people going on vacation. So there's a lot of overtime to cover those vacations, so. And we also have additional paramedics than we had last year too at this time, so. A lot of moving pieces with that. The other thing I wanted to point out was our utilities are still right on budget. With the winter we had, I thought that was pretty good. Our gas though is pretty high, so it might go over budget when we get back to winter season. Page 9 is balance sheet. And page 10 is our profit and loss this year versus last year. You can see there the change in revenue. Our revenues are about $254,000 over last year at this time. And a lot of that has to do with COVID, I believe. Sales tax at this point in time was $85,000 up. Service fees are $23,000 up. And then the GET revenue, that is just a timing difference as well. They kept pushing the due date back. So last year we paid by April. This year we just paid this last bill cycle. So, and then of course, we're not expecting any stimulus funds this year. Any questions on that profit and loss this year versus last year? Page 11 are the bank balances as of June 3rd versus May 20th, so up 520,000. That's due to the land sale. And then year over year, it's up almost 1.5 million. Any questions on any of that? Page 12 is our cash reserve analysis. We're up just a little over a month, again, due to that land sale. Pages 13 through 17. Check register. Anybody have any? Page 18 is our current bills due. And then page 19 through 22 are the details. Any questions on any of this? The RLI surety, that is the public official bond we discussed a couple of meetings ago. And that is a whopping $95.
Looks like we have a credit with, was it CDW government?
Yeah, we'll use it on this invoice here.
What created that?
We had returned a docking station. It wasn't working. So we got on that. There's no further questions. That is the end of my report. The auditor has been working, asking seeing a lot of questions. She said she would probably meet over this week to do her testing. I haven't heard from her yet as to when, but that's in the works.
Are there any questions? I'll just take a motion to approve payment of outstanding bills. Second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Medical director, I guess. Guess we'll move on to unfinished business, bay window replacement.
Mr. Chairman, we expressed we're going to use some patience and explore the idea with the Andrew Trimmer about putting glass block in those spaces that we're talking about, refilling the door or something. And he's not gotten back with us. In the meantime, our bid with Dukes has expired. But I'm going to go ahead and we'll get Dukes to update that. And I'll have hopefully both those in next meeting. And I'd like to make sure we get on somebody's work plan to get that, that effort going if the board would so agree at the next meeting.
Highway pickup discussion.
I would ask, asked last time if anyone had any concerns or questions about that, before you did a lot of work on it. And I thought about it after we left. My concern is that we would be committing future boards as well. And for myself, I have trouble with my ankles and uneven surfaces. I wouldn't be able to participate in that. And I just don't know that that's our mission as the board. It's a PR thing, I can see that. And it may show unity with the union. I'm just not too sure that that would be the best thing for us as a board to endorse and to participate in.
Yes, I certainly understand that, and you would be correct that if the sign remained and the board member came on board and they weren't any part of that vote, they're committed to that obligation, just like a lot of obligations we make. The simple fact was, it was something near and dear to my heart that I'm sick and tired of seeing trash alongside our highways. And it was an opportunity for us because I know that unions, fire and ambulance districts are doing this in the state of Missouri. So it was an option. I wanted to, if the board isn't going to be in unison, then we'll move forward with some type of something else because, we're a part of this county and we need to demonstrate that. So that's just my feeling. Just as you have yours. So.
Well,
And there's, the walking thing, I understand.
and that brought up the other thing, that we have a lot of employees that don't live in the county. And so when they're not working, they would have a hard time getting, I can't see them coming back and participating in that. And if they're on duty, they shouldn't be participating in that either. So if the union wanted to do that, that piece, up to them. I don't see where we have any say in it, but putting our name on there,
I just also, from sort of philosophical argument, I would be, outside of signing up for something for future people to take, have to do. It would be, in my opinion, fine to do, sort of a group community project with the employees, that work at the, for the ambulance district. But specifically tying in with the union, technically speaking, since we have an somewhat antagonistic relationship with the union being people who decide their union wages and supposedly, simultaneously having to represent the taxpayer. I don't know if that's entirely I don't think that's entirely appropriate to necessarily do it with the union as opposed to as the ambulance district.
And that was my thoughts too. If you're gonna do it, you do it as Pettis County Ambulance District. Is what the sign would say.
Yep.
And it's all inclusive.
Further discussion?
I'm just, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to go ahead and just withdraw that from any future business. And I just want to go on the record that I don't believe that my relationship with our union by 229 is antiquated. So we shouldn't feel that way, because that's not the case.
Well,
It's the same employees that were there before they formed their union. And they perform their job and they ask for wages and benefits in just a little different manner, but they did it just the same with the board. So it's just,
I just make my point.
just
clear.
different dynamic.
Sure. Make
But
my
they're
point
still
clear.
part of the Pettis County Ambulance District.
Yeah.
So if you just would name it the Pettis County Ambulance District,
Well,
that's all inclusive.
Sure, but I just want to make my point clear. By antagonistic relationship, I mean that the incentive structures are such that our job is to get the best bang for the money for the taxpayer, and that is not necessarily the exact same incentive structure for the union.
yeah, and, you know, gentleman, Mr. Cox, I'll yield to you in that fashion, but, you know, my mission, what I was elected to do is stipulated on the front page of our agenda, and that's to meet the mission statement of the district. And that's what I signed up to. So, and I'm just, you know, I just want to know that, you know, those folks are our most important asset. And I want to make sure that we're on focus with that.
So you wish to withdraw?
I'll withdraw that, sir. Yeah, we might find something in the future that we can partner together with, you know, our little bit of available time and to do something in the community it's a positive thing. It's just a trash was a pet peeve of mine.
United Way used to have that work day.
That's a good one too. Absolutely. Very good point.
We'll move on to the office printer.
I would like to ask if we could probably just table this until next time. I am waiting on a couple, there's a demo that we're having done next week from a tough shooter dealer out of Kansas City. And probably a couple of, I'd like to explore some more options.
Did you receive my email?
I did.
Okay.
So wait.
Table the office printer till the next meeting. Since we have no new business, I will take a motion to go into closed session pursuant of RSMo 610.6.021 section 2.
So
Second.
All in favor, that'll be a roll call.
Brown,
Yes.